Joseph Smith knew and understood the doctrines of spirits and intelligences. After all, it was he who translated the Book of Abraham and received the revelations on the topic. So it is not surprising that he taught the saints what he knew, at least in part. He did so in the King Follett sermon, given in General Conference 2.5 months before his martyrdom. The sermon was recorded by 4 witnesses: Willard Richards, Wilford Woodruff, Thomas Bullock, and William Clayton. All subsequent accounts were based on 2 or more of these recordings. None of the accounts were complete, but the combination of all 4 provided a fairly accurate record of Joseph's comments. Joseph covered a lot of topics, but we will focus only on one: the mind of man. Midway through the discourse, Joseph Smith changed course and addressed a new topic. According to the 4 reports, the topic was the immortality of the soul, mind, and spirit of man. The Times and Seasons report the switch in topics this way. We must be careful here. An amalgamated version sometimes is additive in nature, meaning the composite is greater than the parts. According to the Times and Seasons version, the topic is the resurrection of the dead, with specific reference to the soul, mind, and spirit of man. It is true that Thomas Bullock included all 3 in his account. But William Clayton included only 2, the soul and mind of man. The 2 other accounts also excluded the spirit. Wilford Woodruff included only the soul and mind. Willard Richards, whose account was extremely abbreviated, mentioned only the soul. Later, while speaking on this topic, Joseph does mention spirit, mind, and soul. At times, he appears to use the terms interchangeably. However, like we did with the Book of Abraham's treatment of intelligences, souls, and spirits, we will have to be very careful to the details. In this case as well, souls, minds, and spirits can be distinct and separate concepts. The version of the sermon found in Joseph Fielding's collection, The Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, is a composite. It is similar, but not the same as the account in the Times and Seasons. In this version, Joseph equated the terms soul, mind of man, and immortal spirit. The footnote to this statement makes this point and declares that all 3 refer to the intelligence and not to the spirit being of man. Joseph is referring to the intelligence in the sense that Abraham used it, as a distinct material being and not a spirit. So in this instance, Joseph is equating soul, mind, and spirit as an intelligence. At this point, the prophet makes a distinction between the 3. The account in the Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith is the lengthiest version on this point. Joseph doesn't mention the mind. Instead, the spirit is placed into a physical body, becoming a living soul. Joseph uses the account in Genesis to support his point. Joseph is using his own translation of the original Hebrew, substituting spirit specifically Adam's spirit, for the King James breath of life. Whatever you call it, the spirit or the breath of life, it is the animating force placed in the physical body, which then becomes a living soul. This is the classical LDS understanding of spirit, body, and soul as the Lord defined them to Joseph Smith. Spirit and soul and mind, in this formulation, become separate entities. The accounts of Wilford Woodruff, Thomas Bullock, and William Clayton accord with this part of the account in the teachings.